Well, hey there, kids. It's time for our Bible story. And this story is from Genesis chapter 1. You know, Genesis is the first book of the Bible, and today we are looking at the story of creation. Just where did everything come from? Well, today we're going to answer that question. But what I need you to do in order for me to start the story is you have to close your eyes. You have to close them tight. If you can see me, then your eyes aren't closed, and there's no cheating. So close your eyes so I can start the story. Now, I will tell you when to open your eyes, so don't worry, you're not going to miss anything. All right? Do you have your eyes closed? All right, let's get ready. Now, remember, no cheating, and listen closely. In the beginning, the earth was empty. Darkness covered everything. Can you imagine darkness? Well, you should be able to because your eyes should be closed, so it should be really dark. But God was there and He had a plan. He said, "Let there be light." And suddenly, golden light shone all around, and God called it day. He called the darkness night. With the light and the darkness, the first day passed. You can open your eyes. All right, on the second day, God said, "Let there be a great space." So the space was formed. Deep and high, and God called the space sky. Now you'll see some blue up here. This is kind of like sky, and this is sky, and here's the great light that's coming down. Now God made rivers and seas on the third day. There's some rivers and some seas on the third day. He formed the mountains and the deserts, the islands and the beaches. He planted tall trees, swaying grasses, and flowers of every color. And we see that here, right? We have tall trees, we have flowers, we have the rivers and the beaches and the ocean, and flowers of every color, the mountains in the background, trees, tall trees. All right, when the fourth day came, God put lights in the sky. The fiery sun for the daytime, the sparkling moon and dancing stars at night. So we have our sun, and we have our moon, and we have stars. On the fifth day, God filled the water with fishes of all shapes and sizes, and He made birds to fly across the sky. God made animals on the sixth day. And on that day, God also made man. When He was finished, God saw everything that He made, and it was very good. On the seventh day, He rested. He rested, kind of like we rest, right? Kind of sleep, just rest, take a break. Now, Adam was the man that God made. So let's look at this guy. He represents Adam, okay? He's the Adam in our story today. And Adam had a very important job, and his job was to give names to all the animals. there were many wonderful animals. But Adam, was still lonely. Even after he named all the animals, he was still the only human. He was still the only man. So when we look at the pig, and we look at the lion and the tiger and the porpoise and the dolphin and the fish and the octopus and the flamingos and raccoons and turtles, and my least favorite is the frog. Adam gave them all their names. But he was still lonely. He needed a helper. And so God made a woman. And we call her name Eve. Adam named her Eve. And Eve was Adam's special helper. Now, Adam and Eve lived in the beautiful Garden of Eden. Tasty fruit grew from many of its trees. And God told Adam and Eve they could eat any fruit they wanted except one kind. Now let's go ahead, and I'm going to move this over to where you can see it. Okay? All right. So, God said to them, he said, "You must never eat any of the fruit from the tree of knowledge of good and evil." Well, this is what we're calling the tree of knowledge and evil, okay? Of good and evil. The tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Now, let me just clarify that a lot of people will look at the tree of good and evil, knowledge of good and evil, and they'll say, well, there's apples on that tree, and so they must have eaten an apple. The Bible doesn't actually say what kind of fruit it was. So for our story today, this tree has apples on it, but we don't know that apples were on the tree of knowledge of good and evil, okay? So just want to make sure you understand that. We don't know what fruit was on that tree because the Bible doesn't tell us, okay? Well, one day a snake came along. Oh, I don't like snakes. But I like frogs even less. And the snake said to Eve, he said, "See how pretty the fruit is on the tree of the knowledge of good and evil? It tastes good. It's going to make you wise, which means smart. Don't listen to what God said. Go ahead and try it." Well, the fruit did look good, and Eve kept looking at it, and she thought, well, it does look good. He's right about that. So she ate it. And then she gave some to Adam, and he ate it. Oh, they ate the fruit even though God told them not to eat from that tree. Well, that evening, God walked through the garden, and Adam and Eve, because they knew what they did, they tried to hide from God. And God called, "Adam, where are you?" And Adam said, "I was hiding. I was afraid." "Did you eat of the fruit of the tree that I told you not to eat?" he said to Adam. Well, Eve ate it first. And Eve said, well, the snake told me that it would be all right. But God was not happy. He told the snake, "You will have to crawl on your belly from now on." And he told Adam and Eve, "You did not listen to me. You did not obey me, God. And so you are going to have to leave the Garden of Eden." It was a sad day when Adam and Eve left the Garden of Eden. And God sent an angel to the garden. He had a flaming sword in hand. And he flashed it back and forth so that no one would go back into the garden. Well, that is our story of Adam and Eve and of creation and what happened. You know, it took 6 days to create all of this. And on that 6th day, God made man. And because man was alone and he was the only human with all these animals, which couldn't help him the way he needed to be helped, God made Eve, who was a helper to Adam. And he gave them the instruction to not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And along came the snake, Satan, and tricked them and lied to them and tried to tell them that God said, oh, it's not a big deal. Look at the fruit. Doesn't it taste good? He tempted them to do the wrong thing, and they did it. And they shouldn't have. And as a result, they got kicked out of the garden. And they had to make clothes to cover themselves because now they were ashamed. And then man had to till the land. And the woman was going to have pain during childbirth. And it was not the way God intended it to be. They disobeyed. And sin came into the world. Well, next time we're together, we're going to look at another story from the Bible. And if you want to read more about this story of creation and about Adam and Eve, go to the book of Genesis, which is the first book in the Old Testament in your Bibles, and check it out for yourself. Well, thank you, Miss Petunia, for allowing me to teach the Bible story today, and I'll talk to you soon, kids. Bye-bye.
Well, hi, boys and girls. It's puzzle time. By now, I hope you have your pen and your paper. So are you ready for our puzzle? I am so excited. This one is so special to me. Now listen, I'm going to give you the numbers and you're going to write them down. And then when you're done, you're going to put a letter to that number. So for example, if I say the number 3, that means you are going to write the letter C. If I was to say the number 15, that means you're going to write the letter O. Now, don't write any letters until I'm done giving you all the numbers. And make sure you write them down in the order that I give them to you, okay? Are you ready? Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, our first number, here we go, is number 8. Then we have 15, 23, number 4, 15, 25, 15, 21, oh, 19. Me and my friends just dancing while you're riding. 16. Number 5. 12. We got 12. We got 12. Now, there's 3 12s in a row. Don't get confused. You should have 3 number 12s written down. And then we have 15, 22, 5, and then write something special, a question mark. Now, there won't be no letter for the question mark. So as you can tell, we got a question to answer. But now, write these numbers down too. We're going to have number 10, a number 5, a number 19, a number 21, and a number 19. Oh, I'm so excited. I can't wait for you to solve this puzzle, right? Right. He said right, too. And he's going to play a little tune for you so you remember who he is. Well, aren't you going to play? Well, boys and girls, that's all for puzzle time today. Thank you. And I'll see you later.